baby boomers and Gen Xers that are aging into retirement and beyond. So we know there's going to be a lot more of them. And you combine that with, how expensive real estate is here in the Bay Area, that that a lot of folks are going to retire with mortgage balances. And so more people than ever, especially around here, are going to need reverse mortgages in order to stay in their home. So I just can't imagine a more potent setup for reverse mortgages to be more relevant and more needed than ever.
Wade Painter, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I know as a president and CEO of a credit union, I know how busy you are. So anytime that I could get these moments with you, I'm greatly appreciative. So thank you so much. And speaking of the change, can you give us just a little insight as to why the name change took place?
Well, sure. Although I think I'm going to provide a little historical context too.
Please.
So we were founded back in 1952, and at that time we were called San Mateo County Employees Credit Union. So that was our sole seg, and that's kind of the way the credit union was for almost 40 years until 1991, when we obtained a community charter for San Mateo County and dropped county employees from our name to become San Mateo Credit Union. That was a big change for the credit union at that time, not just dropping county employees, but really taking on a community charter, going from a seg to a community charter and all that entailed. That really took us through last year. So at the beginning of 2024, we took on a new name, Montara Credit Union, and kicked off a major rebranding effort. And the reason for the name change and associated rebranding was to raise our visibility to all aspects of the communities that we serve, as well as to launch an expansion of our regional presence while still honoring our San Mateo County roots. Now, the name Montara, though spelled differently, is one of our iconic beaches in the county, and Montara Mountain is the highest point on the San Mateo County coast. Further, the name Montara, at least we think, evokes stability, strength, and nature. And our mission is to provide our members with the best solutions possible that meet their financial need for all their life stages and life events.
I love that. And I love how your team actually doesn't just preach that mission, Wade. I've got to know your team over the years, but it's embedded in their culture. It's in their DNA. It was actually there before you said it out loud.
Yeah, no, that's who we are and a big part of our values.
Wade, how long have you been there now?
Exactly 10 years this month.
Wow, that is truly amazing that 10 years has gone by literally like that, the blink of an eye, which means we've been a partner with you for 10 years. Thank you so much. I'm super grateful for that as well. I want to ask you what inspired you to offer reverse mortgage solutions at your credit union. I think maybe I know a little bit of the answer because of where you were prior to where you are. But ultimately, when you took that credit union on, you had a whole lot of challenges to face. And one of them was to consider putting reverse mortgage solutions in place. Why to you was that relevant? And Wade, I asked that question because this is my 18th year of doing this, and so many credit unions shun away from reverse mortgage. It's just something that's not relevant, even though a great majority of their members are 62 or better. What was the catalyst for you to think it was relevant?
I'll tell you, it's hard coded into our mission statement for the credit union. And, when I mentioned before about, having relevant solutions, not just relevant, but great solutions for all of our members' life stages and the life events they take on, that is front and center to, what we're committed to doing. And I just couldn't imagine that without reverse mortgages that we would have an adequate array of mortgage products for our members in helping them with all of their life stages. So not a very long-winded answer, I guess, but reverse mortgages just go hand in hand with the retirement life stage that inevitably we're all gonna be in. Yeah, so heck yeah, we want to offer reverse mortgages.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I love the way you look at it. You had the ability to choose anybody in the world to partner with for reverse mortgages. You chose Alliance Reverse Mortgage. Was there some sort of comfort level with us? Was it the magic in the name or the faces? What was it for you?
Well, I guess in short, your firm offers a competitive product at the lowest cost in the market. And we know that to be true because we periodically do our own competitive analyses. However, that's not the only factor. It's also really important to us that we have shared values with your firm. You and your team offer expertise in reverse mortgage lending. You deliver it with a level of care and integrity that frankly is often hard to find. Your firm understands reverse mortgage isn't just another product. It's a deeply personal decision tied to home, family, and security. And your approach really parallels Montara Credit Union's approach to so much of how we carry on our business, emphasizing clarity, education, commitment to doing what's right for the member. Your reputation for ethical lending, thoughtful guidance, and personal attention really made you a clear choice for us. Now, I don't know if this is a good time to do it, but it seems appropriate. I have to add my own experience at connecting you with my folks. I saw firsthand all of the attributes that Alliance brings to the table in dealing with their clients. My parents got a great product and the appropriate level of support and hand-holding through the loan origination process and lots of subsequent check-ins. Their reverse mortgage allowed them to stay in their home for an additional 5 years until they needed additional support of assisted living. I could tell you my parents were extremely grateful to you and your team for enabling them to stay in their home for as long as they did. So anyway, thank you.
Oh gosh, you're welcome. Your parents, David and Nancy, are absolutely wonderful people. I don't get to serve a lot of members, but when a CEO calls and says, hey, can you help my parents? Well, it's going to be me that's going to drive out to the house. And I remember driving out there and meeting your parents with you. And then I remember all of the phone calls, mostly from your mom. Your parents adore you. I mean, you're walking on something with them. I don't know if you have brothers or sisters, but you're held way up here, Wade.
I'm it.
I'm sorry that your father passed. I'm grateful that you're able to spend the time with your mom, having her nearby, and I hope she's doing okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, thanks again, Roy.
You're welcome. Well, thank you for entrusting us to help your parents, and I'm glad they were able to buy an additional 5 years in their home. One of my next questions was speaking about how the reverse solution aligns with your mission, but you pretty much covered that in your opening thoughts. How do you see the financial needs of your senior members evolving over the next 5 or 10 years?
Oh my gosh. Hey, I think there's going to be a lot more of them, right? We all, read about this big surge of baby boomers and Gen Xers that are aging into retirement and beyond. So we know there's going to be a lot more of them. And you combine that with, how expensive real estate is here in the Bay Area, that that a lot of folks are going to retire with mortgage balances. And so more people than ever, especially around here, are going to need reverse mortgages in order to stay in their home. So I just can't imagine a more potent setup for reverse mortgages to be more relevant and more needed than ever.
What qualities should a credit union look for when partnering in the reverse mortgage realm? And I can ask you that because your 10 years of being with us, plus however many at your previous institution. So you have a pretty good idea of what to look for in that particular reverse mortgage partner.
Well, frankly, it's probably what we look for in a lot of different categories of our business that we use to vet, partners and potential partners. But, I'd start with cultural alignment. How do you approach, serving members? It's really important to us that from our members' point of view, you're us in a way. And so we want you or whoever we're partnering with to be serving our members and interacting with our members pretty much the same as we would. So, that's really important. And of course, experience and specialization, I think, are really important, especially in this space. It is such a unique product that I think just being a product specialist in reverse mortgages really makes a difference, as opposed to some other firm that might be a generalist and deal with a lot of different mortgage products. We don't have to wonder if whoever is dealing with one of our members really has the right level of knowledge about reverse mortgages. So I think that's one too. A reputation and track record. I can imagine, because of what I said that as we have this dynamic where the reverse mortgage market is exploding because, there's so much demand, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of new entrants into that space. So reputation and track record, I think, will mean more and more as it becomes more of a differentiator.
We have 18 years in of doing just reverse mortgages for credit unions. I'm going to knock on wood. We've never had a member complain in 18 years. And I think that speaks volumes for the team. And you're right. There's a lot of new entrants into this world, and they're coming from the forward mortgage world, which is okay, but they're not receiving the proper training. They're kind of reading a 2-page article, and basically it comes down to being the wild, wild west of reverse mortgage. And Wade, we see it every day. We see members who begin the process somewhere different, walk into their credit union with the paperwork and ask for help. And they're just getting placed in loans that aren't proper. And certainly they're paying too much in origination fees and interest rates. For you personally, what's the most rewarding part of serving your members?
It's hooking them up with the right solutions and, knowing that our interests are aligned. We're not hooking them up with products that, we're making a bunch of money off of, and it's maybe not so great for them. I mean, that, I guess probably any credit union would say that, that's not their world, but it's still a very rewarding part of being in a credit union and just seeing how we act in our members' best interests. Yeah, that certainly applies to our relationship with your firm. And,
Thank you. There's nowhere else that I would want to be. Well, I want to be a pilot professionally. I wish I was young enough to be able to do that. But as far as the career world goes, it's selfishly gratifying, my job. Every single time that we serve a member, we've changed their lives for the better. And when you go home with that every single night, and then that belief is just ingrained in you, I'm super grateful for working with the credit unions. There's nowhere else I want to be. I don't want to work with a bank. The bank doesn't have that collaborative environment of serving like a credit union does. The only thing we're missing is credit union in our name. For a selfish moment here, if you could summarize the value of the partnership in just a sentence, what would that be? And use 2 sentences if you need. I know there's a lot to say, but
I'll be succinct here, I promise. The partnership is valuable because, it's not just about business, it's about trust, legacy, and working together to fulfill Montara Credit Union's promise of serving our members with care, respect, and meaningful and the right solutions at every stage of their life. How's that? Was that succinct enough?
That's really good. I like that. Hey, Wade, why do you think we struggle with growth of credit union partners? I don't know if we've had these conversations before, but I generally speak to credit unions for years before I literally think that the CEO is like, oh my gosh, make him stop coming. Just sign him up. Just put him on. We want to partner with him. That's sometimes how I feel. I mean, I have the same conversations with many, many credit unions, and they don't understand the importance, I think, of having this product for their member. Why do you think that is?
I guess I could make a couple wild guesses. The reverse mortgages, they're not going to show up on our balance sheet. So it might be kind of a business model perception. Since it's not going to go on the balance sheet, contribute to interest income, it's just kind of an ancillary service, and somehow that's not as important as the mainstream mortgages that they might be doing. But that's just Wade's guess, because I don't see it that way at all.
I appreciate that. And you could, quite frankly, be right. When we started doing this 18 years ago, there was a program. It was called the Advisor Program. And we were able to compensate the credit union for the referral, assuming they provided a small amount of work for it. And shortly after we partnered with our first credit union, RESPA came into effect and pretty much did away with that. However, when they did away with that, the commitment that we made to our credit unions is, listen, we'll provide the lowest rates, fees, and margins, and they're astronomically low compared to other places. So we take what you would earn in the non-interest income and we give that directly to a member. There's not a time where a member comes to us with lower rates, fees, or margins than what we provide for them. So yes, it's not going on the balance sheet. In the same breath of that, you're not doing a whole ton of volume in the credit union world as a whole for reverse mortgages. So why not at least have that opportunity to say, hey, I've got a great trusted resource and I know you're going to be well taken care of. Is there anything that you want to share about your leadership journey? Again, I cannot believe it's been 10 years. It has literally flown by so quickly. I'm going to imagine for you that the days have probably been long. Maybe the years have gone by quickly, but I can't imagine as a CEO of a credit union, as a CEO of a reverse mortgage company, I have one thing to worry about. The credit union, you have many things to worry about. What do you want to share about your leadership journey that could maybe maybe inspire others.
Yeah, I don't know how inspiring it is. It's just, just keep showing up for your members and meeting their needs. It's not just simply focusing on innovation, technology, and growth, although those are all super, super important. It's still about people and knowing and understanding what they need and delivering on it. And everything else is secondary. One reason why I just value our relationship with your firm is this is kind of like the last mortgage stop in a progression of mortgages that we've done for these members. That's been a very right relationship for us economically, doing what's right for people. That's been the journey.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today. Again, I know what your schedule is like. Is there anything that you want to add about anything before we wrap this up?
Yeah, Ron, again, I just appreciate who you are and what you've built with Alliance Reverse Mortgage and the niche you fill. And when I say niche, it sounds like it's something really small, but I think it's pretty big. And for the reasons I was talking about earlier, it's just going to get bigger. So thank you for all you do.
Oh, Wade, thank you for the kind words, and you're welcome. And thank you for being a partner of Alliance Reverse Mortgage. I really appreciate that. So thank you again for being here.